So you can have a key and ka and a two stage. You don't always need to beat two states. So, India's Most Wanted, I have to confess, at that point in time, I was just a bit taken aback by the fact that it didn't do well, so I couldn't connect.
Let's do this.
When it comes to you, I get super nervous.
The Zoom house act.
And you're more nervous than I am.
Hey guys, my name is Shravan Shah and today I'm going to be having a conversation with the very talented Arjun Kapoor. So Arjun, I remember the last time when we spoke, okay, there's this one thing that you said and that has stayed with me is that how the sur of this film is written. When I look at your filmography, I think somewhere you have started also picking films with the changing times, okay? Has that somewhere been a conscious decision?
See, I think evolution is a constant, and sometimes you evolve before time, sometimes with, and sometimes a little after because you catch up. It's human nature, we can't always keep up. We can't always be in sync with the movement. I was very fortunate. I came in at a time as an actor, Shravan, when Ishaq Zadeh was releasing. That was actually where the switch had started happening, where the audience evolution had started. So you had a Rowdy Rathore coming after a month of Ishaq Zadeh, that was a blockbuster, and you had Ishaq Zadeh where unknown two people were playing Romeo and Juliet, and it was being loved by people for the rawness and the authenticity and the realistic texture of it. So I guess from that point only, I knew that you have to balance both these things out. See, I've grown up admiring, loving the big screen experience and being somebody who's always been around commercial cinema. I always believe that entertainment is key. A lot of people assume mass cinema is commercial cinema. You have to also find segregation. Sometimes you'll do a front-footed film like, say, a Rowdy Rathore or a Gunde. But even two states is commercial cinema because you're playing to the gallery in that with the relationships, and there is naach gana bhi hai, romance bhi hai, college love story bhi hai, parents ki wo bhi hai, nok joke hai, father son ke beech mein conflict hai. Those are all commercial beats also. But yes, you are right. Over a course of time, with the success, failure, understanding yourself, your comfort, the audience, the evolution, I have, of course, looked at putting myself out there, whether it was doing an Aurangzeb even before time. I signed Aurangzeb before being a successful actor. I signed it on a whim of saying, I really think it's an interesting film. I did a Finding Fanny. I chose to do Sandeep or Pinky Farrar at a time where I was dying to work with Diwakar Banerjee without a care in the world about the commerce of it. But I will not deny that I do care about my films being successful, and there should be a barometer. In our country, the barometer mostly is the box office. Now we also have OTT where you can gauge the barometer by the love and attention a film gets. So it's a new barometer. And I feel Sardar Ka Grandson is part of that new barometer where the quantification through Netflix will be how long it resonates with the audience, how long we can sustain the love for Sardar Ka Grandson, how many people watch it with their family. So yeah, to answer your question, without meandering too much, yes, I have consciously tried to open my mind to accepting and adapting. But yeah, you have to, as a mainstream actor, you have to dabble both sides. So I do believe when I do a villain and Bhoot Police, I also do a Sardar Ka Grandson and Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. That is where I feel I can mix and match. So when I work with Anis Bazmi, I also work with Diwakar Banerjee. When I'm doing a Mohit Suri film, I'm also looking at doing a film like India's Most Wanted with Rajkumar Gupta, which is a songless thriller. I care about the trends, but at the same time, you have to also go with your impulse. So it's a very tough call, but yeah, I have tried to stay conscientious of the evolution of cinema in our country.
Now, there are two particular films I want to talk to you about. One is, of course, Sardar Ka Grandson, and the other is India's Most Wanted. Now, when I watch these two films, okay, and when I see Ishaq Zadeh, what I've realized in fact, all these three films is somewhere I got to see the real Arjun Kapoor. There was no facade that was there. And as an audience, I could connect with. Okay, is that the feedback that you got from a lot of people around you?
So, India's Most Wanted, I have to confess, at that point in time, I was just a bit taken aback by the fact that it didn't do well. So I couldn't connect with what people were saying around. But in retrospect, I do remember the reviews were very positive towards my performance majorly. But Sardar Ka Grandson is a very, very naked performance in that sense. It is me wearing my heart on my sleeve and performing. Perhaps arguably the closest to my personal self because I added a lot of Arjun into Avri consciously and subconsciously as we were talking with Kashvi. So a lot of people do tend to mention that Sardar Ka Grandson is close to who I am. But if you ask me the emotional part of, I'm not as immature as Amri. I'm far more mature. I would believe I'm very similar to my two-stage character in my emotional thought process and how silent and resilient I have been over the course of my life. Baki, I think audiences loved me in Ishaq Zade, like you were saying, because it was just so new. Even
Yeah.
I didn't know I had that side in me. So, but I'm not like Parma at all, actually. I'm quite the opposite. So that's just a good performance, actually.
Talking about Sardar Ka Grandson, okay, when you guys start shooting for it, and like we were talking about it last time, uh, the world was very different. It was
Yeah,
very much theater culture, okay? And
correct.
somewhere as an actor, you also have to keep in mind the business of acting where how much money is going to get pulled in, okay?
Yes.
But now that the film is releasing in an OTT, do you think you are somewhere at ease that you are not thinking about, oh, how much money is my film going to make?
Well, perhaps you are right at a time where there is so much of stress and external pressure already in this world. When we started out, there weren't these pressures, and we were making a film that we wanted box office to be the barometer when times were different. And today, with Netflix coming in, taking this film into their arms and really giving it the love and nurturing it and putting it out there today, um, I have to say, maybe, I don't know if Netflix is okay, but the film is going to do well for my producers and Netflix. That is where the beauty of OTT is, that there is a certain amount of protection for the people that have worked hard to make the film. That way, I feel secure and happy that my film is coming and protecting the producers and being put on the best platform possible for it to connect with the audience. Like I said, I'm not a producer to go into details, but I know everybody is at ease. So that's a pressure off me as an actor. I have delivered to make sure that there are people taken care of, protected, companies that are happy with it. And now people are liking our film. So I guess in a way, the numbers are not there for knowing how big a hit it is or how loved it is. But at the same time, I feel just the fact that it's on Netflix is a big success for me as it is, because I can't expect a 50 plus couple to come in to see Sardar Ka Grandson at a time like this into a theater. It's unfair of me to have that expectation from my audience.
Another thing that I want to ask you, Arjun, is that you've seen your fair share of hits and misses at the box office. Okay. Today, when you sit back, there are two questions that I have for you. One, are you happy? And the second, are there any regrets?
In the last 1.5, 2 years, that I'm happy and grateful after what has transpired. You can't not be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
I have a 9-year-old career. I'm still a working active actor today. I'm delivering a film which is out for you all to watch. I've had a film that's come in that is produced by Yashraj last month. I am shooting for a film. I've completed another film, Booth Police. I've completed with. So I have to say, in context to what my ambition was, I have to forget. I have to just be grateful and happy to be actively working towards entertaining people and making films. So I am happy about that. Am I happy about the way films have panned out? Not all of them, obviously, because I would have wanted most of them to do well. You don't want your films to flop. There's a dynamic or a pressure created by the system and the machinery that you have to gauge success by only box office.
Yeah.
And in competitive streaks of what your contemporaries are achieving at the time where you are not achieving. And if I compare myself, I will always feel low about. Because you always find somebody doing better than you. But you are doing better than somebody else. You will not see that. So I've learned to realize that this lambi race hai, and I'm quite happy to be in the race. As long as you're in the race, your time comes. So you just have to ride it out. You have to enjoy the journey and the process without getting too bogged down. Hits and flops are not mine alone, but I take full responsibility for choosing to do the films I did, and I stand by my choices. At that point, they seemed right. See, yaar, jab main aaya tha, I got a film that did well. Then I got 5-6 films at a stretch. I signed them and I did them. I followed my impulse and instinct. Then I started getting told how I should sign films and how I should build a career, and I sort of followed that, and I fell into this trap of looking at the optics of cinema and the optics of being a star and carrying a film and the positioning and posturing and what are the do's and don'ts if you want to rise up in the ladder. And I made all my fundamental mistakes then because I stopped following impulse. I was following a strategy. So it's not a regret, it's a learning curve. I feel I learned out of that phase of my career, and in that I got a bit confused. I got a bit conflicted because my heart and my mind were doing two different things when I was saying yes to films. And now I've looked back and I realized I've learned out of both those phases. The first phase of the chaos of signing films impulsively versus the over-strategizing. So let's hope in the next 9 years I can combine the two nicely and sort of reach a nice middle path there, because every actor has their own journey to realize what kind of films they want to do, what kind of films the audience enjoys them in. देयर इज अ प्रेशर क्रिएटेड कि आपको पहले 2-3 साल में ही कुछ अचीव करना है. मुझे लगता है कि आपको 10-12 साल भी लग जाए तो क्या बुरा है, as long as you're making films which are doing reasonably well for your producers, the audience don't mind them. So you can have a key and ka and a two stage. You don't always need to beat two stages. I can do a Finding Fanny and it does 35 crores. It's called a flop. But for me, Finding Fanny is an English experimental film with Omi Adajani. What's important is you have to enjoy the journey, and I'm really grateful to be here. Do I feel I need to work harder? Yes. Do I need to get better at signing films? Yes. Do I need to work on my performance? 100%. Do I need to work on my physicality? 200%. And that is my honesty to my craft. But there is not a day where I'm dishonest to. And I'm very proud of what I've achieved because of that, regardless of the success and failures I've seen. Because what I'm capable of is something my directors and my producers see on ground. To deliver a film like Sardar Ka Grandson is, I think, a testament to somehow, I believe, my being a producer, director, friendly actor. And I take great pride in that aspect in these 9 years, to become an actor who can see the film from infancy to release. So I feel in seeing a film through is also part of an actor's life, and I really enjoy that aspect. So I've learned a lot, and I feel I give a lot because of that. I give 200% to it, and I'll continue to do that.
And it's very evident. But thank you so much for talking to me. And that's one of the reasons why I like what you do. So please keep doing that. Please keep following what your heart says, because otherwise I don't think we would have witnessed Sardar Ka Grandson. But thank you so much, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
So if you liked this video, do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and tune in next Tuesday for yet another episode of Bollywood Journey.